It was back in September when we got to know that GPU designer Nvidia had agreed to pay $40 billion for ARM's holdings. Now, the ARM's main business is the design of CPU cores, and the company was owned by SoftBank. The Japanese tech firm will reportedly turn an $8 billion profit on the transaction once it closes. And to close the purchase of ARM by Nvidia will need to be approved by regulators around the world. Now, American tech giants Microsoft, Google, and Qualcomm have reportedly raised concerns to the regulators in the US, UK, Europe, and China over Nvidia's acquisition of ARM. Now, according to The Verge, the companies have approached regulators with concerns that Nvidia could change how ARM licenses out its chip-making technology. Now, Nvidia has assured that it would not be using its control over the company to change how it interacts with other businesses. Now, Qualcomm got involved in the approval process for the deal because it believes that if Nvidia buys ARM, Nvidia will prevent other chip companies from using ARM's intellectual properties. And that would be a problem to more than 500 companies that licenses ARM's chip designs to manufacture their own chips. Now, for context, ARM's chip architectures are used in 95% of the world's smartphones and 95% of the chips designed in China. Qualcomm is concerned that Nvidia won't be able to fully take advantage of the acquisition without crossing some lines. Now, as a result, 5 industry sources and 2 tech investors says that there is a good chance that the transaction will be blocked by at least one of the regulatory agencies. Now, on the other hand, Nvidia told CNBC that they are confident that the transaction will get approved by regulators. Nvidia's CEO said in a statement that Nvidia will maintain ARM's open licensing business and they have no intention to throttle or deny ARM supply to any customer. However, the rivals of Nvidia put up the argument that keeping ARMs neutral and not using its tech to Nvidia's own gains is not what the company would do after paying $40 billion for it. The restrictions on licensing would hurt the companies that benefit from having the ability to license ARM's technology. Now, Nvidia has argued that this acquisition is all about driving the company's AI capabilities forward, which is an area Nvidia has focused heavily recently. And yeah, ARM's low-power technology could help Nvidia a lot in that department. So if you don't know, Nvidia is the largest GPU supplier in the whole world, and ARM is the 3rd largest, which could allow those opposed to the deal to use antitrust arguments in an attempt to block it. Meanwhile, UK and EU officials have promised to thoroughly investigate the deal. As per The Verge, it is very likely that they will hear many other objections as well. Not just from Google, Microsoft, or Qualcomm, but from others in the chip-making industry who are concerned about the open licensing agreement with ARM being affected by the merger. So yeah, we have to wait for that. So the next thing that's happening is Huawei's in-house chip design unit HiSilicon cannot get its designs manufactured by foundries because of the US export rule change that took effect in the middle of the last September. Under the new rule, foundries worldwide that uses US tech to manufacture semiconductors cannot deliver them to Huawei without consent from the US Commerce Department. Now, because of this rule change, Huawei, which was once the 2nd largest customer for TSMC, can no longer buy chips from that manufacturer, and this has opened up some capacity for TSMC. Eamon, who will soon be the Qualcomm CEO, says that Qualcomm has been experiencing heavier than expected demand. The demand is rising for PCs, home networking equipment, and also vehicles. The executive says that any reduction in HiSilicon chip production won't immediately turn into additional chip production from other foundries. That is because transferring the production of chip designs to new manufacturer takes time. Not just that, Qualcomm is in favor of companies that are opening foundries in the United States. After all, Qualcomm is a US firm headquartered in San Diego. Now, both TSMC and Samsung Foundry will be building additional capacity in the US over the next 2 to 3 years, and that's a good thing. Now, the chip demand over the last few years has been led by 2 5s, the 5nm and 5G. Now, TSMC and Samsung Foundry are now making 5nm chips that are more powerful than the 7nm one and more energy efficient as well. Now, Samsung Foundry will also be manufacturing Qualcomm's newest 5G modem chip using its 4nm process. So yeah, if you guys want to see more episodes like this, please hit the like button, please do subscribe or watch my other videos. Bye and take care.